Aisha Carter wasn't one for words. New to town, heavyset, black, and reserved, she was the kind of student people thought they could mock without repercussions. At Seacrest High in a foggy Oregon coastal town, they targeted her in the corridors, shamed her during lunch, and made sure everyone knew she was the school's punching bag. When she finally spoke up, the adults brushed it off, telling her to tough it out. So the next time they came for her, she didn't back down. What followed didn't just shift the school's power dynamics. It exposed what the staff ignored, what the bullies never saw coming, and what Aisha had been holding back all along. Before we dive in, drop a comment with where you're reading from, and don't forget to share this story. Aisha had learned young that silence could be a shield. It didn't stop the stares or the whispers, but it carved out just enough space to keep people from thinking they could break her. On her first day at Seacrest High, she walked through the rusted front gates, her backpack slung over one shoulder, her eyes scanning the ground just enough to avoid trouble without seeming weak. The school sat on a bluff overlooking the Pacific, its faded paint and salt-worn walls a far cry from the glossy brochures. A student volunteer handed her a locker assignment with a mumbled, "There you go," before hurrying off. Aisha didn't care. She wasn't here to win friends or charm anyone. She just wanted to get through the year without becoming a target again. But trouble found her fast. By second period, the weight of attention settled on her like damp fog. A snicker behind her in English class sounded suspiciously like a cow's moo. Then another. She turned to see two boys in Letterman jackets smirking, their eyes fixed on her. One leaned toward the other, loud enough for her to hear. "Careful, man. She might sink the whole building." The other grinned. "Gonna need a bigger desk for that one." Aisha didn't react. She kept her head up, her step steady, but her pulse quickened. It escalated hourly. In chemistry, a girl sitting nearby muttered, "Hope that chair's bolted down," before giggling with her friend. Aisha's grip tightened on her pencil, but she kept writing, ignoring the laughter rippling through the room. In history, someone tossed a crumpled muffin wrapper onto her desk, whispering, "Whoops, thought you'd want seconds." At lunch, her name appeared on a cafeteria chalkboard. Big A, extra fries, hold the dignity. By the time she sat alone near the courtyard's driftwood benches, her tray balanced on her knees, two girls from math class strutted by, laughing loudly. "That's all she's eating?" one mocked. "She'll probably raid the vending machine later." The other added, "Let's see if she collapses on the track." Aisha stared at her food, unmoving, until they left. Then she dumped her tray and walked away, her posture rigid. In PE, the cruelty turned sharp. During roll call, someone made a loud move from the back. A boy's voice followed, smug, "Don't let her sprint. She'll bust the turf." The class erupted in laughter. The coach shouted for quiet but didn't address the noise, just moved on to drills. Aisha's chest tightened, not from the exercise, but from the storm she was swallowing. Seacrest wasn't just any school. It was the kind of place where cruelty hid behind sly grins, and everyone pretended not to notice. By the final bell, Aisha moved through the parking lot with the deliberate calm of someone who'd spent the day absorbing every jab. The ocean breeze carried the tang of salt, and gulls circled overhead. That's when she saw them. Three girls by the bike racks, arms crossed, smirking like they owned the school. Letterman patches, glossy ponytails, and the confidence of girls who thought they were untouchable. One tilted her head as Aisha approached. "Think she'll fit in a carpool?" she called out. "Might need a flatbed truck," another sneered. The third pulled out her phone, snapping a photo. "Smile, girl. You're gonna be famous." Aisha didn't stop. She didn't look. She kept walking, hands in her pockets, eyes on the pavement, until their voices faded. But the photo wasn't an accident. And in that quiet moment, with the sun dipping toward the horizon, Aisha knew tomorrow would be worse. That night, Aisha sat at the dining table while her aunt, Marla, cooked, the smell of roasted peppers and thyme filling their small apartment. A radio played soft jazz in the background. Aisha stirred her food, nodding at Marla's small talk but saying little. Marla didn't press. She'd raised Aisha long enough to know some things needed time to surface. The next morning, Aisha moved slower, not from exhaustion but from the weight of yesterday's silence. She wore a gray hoodie, hair pulled back tightly, and walked into Seacrest with her head low but her senses sharp. At her locker, she found donut wrappers stuffed through the vents, crinkled and deliberate. She tossed them in the trash without a word. A girl nearby whispered to her friend, "Guess she's got snacks now." The friend laughed. "Still hungry, probably." Aisha didn't glance their way. She already knew their faces. In second period, someone had scribbled a cartoon on the whiteboard near her seat. A round figure with a speech bubble saying, "More pizza." The teacher wiped it off without comment, but the smirks around the room said enough. In the halls, a group of boys chanted her name in a mocking sing-song. "Aisha C. Aisha C." One stepped back dramatically as she passed, saying, "Yo, watch out. She's gonna crush me." The others laughed, one kicking a locker for emphasis. Aisha kept moving, her face unreadable. He was brutal. The coach let the class pick teams again. Aisha stood with her arms crossed, waiting as captains. Two boys and a girl who always hung with the ringleader looked past her. Names were called, teams formed until it was just Aisha and a kid with asthma. One captain sighed, pointing at her. "Fine, come on. Just don't trip over anyone." The laughter was louder than it needed to be. Aisha joined the team, played quietly, and held back to avoid more attention. When the game ended, someone muttered, "We'd have one if the field wasn't sinking." Another voice added, "It's not sinking, it's just tired." In the locker room, Aisha changed slowly, waiting for the others to leave. But two girls stayed behind, brushing their hair by the mirrors, pretending not to see her. She knew their names now, Chloe and Harper. They orbited the leader, always whispering, always smirking. Harper glanced at her in the mirror. "You know, you could lose like 30 pounds if you skipped breakfast for a week." Chloe laughed. "Try a year." Aisha tied her shoes, stood, and walked past them like they were invisible. By her last class, her stomach ached. Not from hunger, but from everything she hadn't said. Just before the bell, she found a flyer taped to her desk. She peeled it off and froze. Her face, badly photoshopped onto a whale's body, with bold text, "Seacrest Surf and Snack Champion," starring Aisha Carter. She folded it into a square, her heart pounding, not from shame, but from something heavier. The classroom buzzed with stifled giggles and phone clicks. The teacher didn't look up. Aisha stood, flyer in hand, and walked to the office, her steps measured, like she was counting everyone. In the office, Aisha gripped the flyer, her knuckles pressing into the paper's edges. The receptionist looked up, offering a tired smile. "Need a tardy slip?" "I need to see Principal Hensley," Aisha said, her voice steady, laced with quiet fury. The woman blinked. "Is this urgent?" "Yes." Aisha waited 12 minutes, then 20, until the principal's door opened. Hensley, a wiry man with thinning hair and a perpetually distracted air, waved her in. The office smelled of old carpet and peppermint. Certificates hung on the wall, and a stack of unopened mail sat by the window. "Aisha, right?" he said, sitting down. "What's this about?" She unfolded the flyer and slid it across his desk. He glanced at it, paused, then read it fully. His shoulders lifted in a faint shrug. "Kids can be harsh," he said. "Best thing is to let it roll off. Don't give them the satisfaction." Aisha didn't move. "Sir, this was on desks. They're sharing it on phones. I've been followed, mocked, and targeted since I got here. This isn't a joke. It's harassment." He leaned back, exhaling. "I get that it's upsetting, but high school's tough. If I disciplined every kid who made a mean comment, we'd have no one left." Aisha's fists clenched. "I'm not asking for suspensions. I'm asking you to act." "I am acting," he said. "I'm telling you to rise above it. They'll lose interest if you don't react." Aisha stared at him, feeling something snap. Not pain, but clarity. No one was coming to help. "Right?" she said, and left without another word. At home, she sat on her bed, shoes still on, the flyer beside her. Marla found her there after work, her hands still smelling of gym chalk. "What's wrong?" she asked. Aisha handed her the flyer. Marla's eyes narrowed as she read. "They did this at school?" Aisha nodded. "They laughed. They recorded me." Marla set the paper down. "And the school told me to ignore it. Said it's just high school." Marla sat across from her. "You've been trying to stay quiet, proving you're stronger than this. But sometimes, people don't listen until you make a noise they can't ignore." Aisha looked up. "Tomorrow." Marla nodded. "Tomorrow." Aisha walked to school the next morning with purpose, her steps steady, like she'd mapped every move before leaving the apartment. The parking lot was busy with students, the air thick with sea mist. She spotted them near the gym entrance, half hidden by a cluster of wind-bent pines. Chloe, Harper, and the ringleader, Lauren, stood with arms crossed, waiting. They saw her as she crossed the lot. Lauren whispered something, and Harper smirked. Chloe stepped forward, phone out like she was hosting a podcast. "Look who's back," she said. "Thought you'd waddle home crying by now." Harper laughed. "Probably thinks we're scared just 'cause she whined to the office." Aisha stopped a few feet away, not from fear, but because the air felt charged now. Students nearby turned, phones already out. "I didn't whine," Aisha said, her voice low, eyes on Chloe. Chloe raised her eyebrows. "Really? Running to the principal with your little flyer? That's pathetic." "I call it giving you a chance," Aisha said. "But you're not smart enough to take it." Lauren scoffed. "You think you're tough now? You're just a walking joke." Harper circled to Aisha's right. "Got something to say? Say it or just stand there panting." Aisha stood still. "You had your fun. Move." Chloe's smirk faltered, but her pride wouldn't let her back down with a crowd watching. "Make me," she said, stepping closer. Then she shoved Aisha. Not hard, but enough to provoke. Phones shifted. The crowd's murmurs sharpened. Aisha took a step back, steadying herself. "I'm not touching you," she said. "Touch me again, though." Chloe shoved her harder, both hands out. "Or what?" Harper lunged from the side, aiming to push. Aisha sidestepped cleanly, not striking back. Lauren hissed. "Hit her already." Aisha's voice stayed even. "I'm warning you." Then Chloe swung, an open-handed slap, wide and sloppy. Everything stopped. Aisha caught her wrist midair, her grip firm, not painful. Chloe froze. "You want a fight?" Aisha said. "Then fight." She released her and stepped back. Chloe swung again, and that's when it began. Chloe's second swing was desperate, fueled by embarrassment. Aisha didn't dodge. She stepped into it, grabbing Chloe's arm and pulling her off balance before landing a precise hook to her ribs. Chloe staggered back, gasping, her phone skittering across the asphalt. The crowd inhaled as one, voices rising. Aisha turned, catching Harper's movement as she charged. Aisha deflected Harper's arm and delivered a compact body shot, dropping her to her knees with a wheeze. Lauren, stunned, hesitated, then rushed forward, swinging her backpack wildly. Aisha ducked, sidestepped, and swept Lauren's legs, sending her crashing to the ground with a sharp cry, her phone flying. The crowd formed a loose circle, some frozen, others filming. No one intervened. Aisha stood in the center, breathing evenly, calm as if she just finished a sparring session at her aunt's gym. Chloe clutched her side. Harper coughed. Lauren groaned. Each movement a reminder of their miscalculation. Teachers burst from the building, shouting for the crowd to disperse. The vice principal followed, face pale. "What happened?" a teacher demanded. A voice from the crowd muttered, "They jumped her." She fought back. The vice principal pointed at Aisha. "Carter with me." She nodded, grabbed her bag, and walked past the silent crowd, phone still rolling. In the principal's office, Hensley waited, his expression tight. "Sit," he said. Aisha did. "I hear you were in a fight." I was attacked, she said. I defended myself. He paused, then said, You're suspended, pending review. Aisha didn't flinch. Okay. By then, the video was everywhere, phones, group chats, social media. Caption: she told them to stop. It showed Chloe's shove, Harper's lunge, Lauren's wild swing, and Aisha dismantling them in seconds. Comments flooded in. Why'd they start it? She warned them. Students posted about the flyers, the cafeteria chalkboard, the mooing in PE. A blurry photo of the whale flyer surfaced. This was in class. Teacher did nothing. Local news picked it up by noon. Seacrest student fights back against bullies. Self-defense or escalation? Aisha's name trended. Marla saw the video at the gym shown by a coworker. She watched it twice, grabbed her keys, and stormed into Hensley's office. You suspended her? She demanded. She was defending herself after you ignored everything. Hensley shifted. There are policies, Miss Carter. Fights aren't tolerated. Neither is harassment. Marla shot back. You had your chance. Now the town's watching. She left, issuing a brief statement to a reporter outside. Aisha asked for help. She was told to deal with it. She was mocked, attacked, and humiliated. Then she stood up. Now let's talk. Parents flooded the school board with calls. Some were outraged. Others demanded answers about the bullying. A mother said her daughter felt guilty for laughing along weeks earlier. The district issued a statement. We are reviewing the incident. Student safety is our priority. But trust was thin. A counselor admitted she'd reported bullying months ago to no avail. A janitor turned in flyers he'd found in the bathrooms. The silence was breaking. Aisha stayed home the next day, sitting at the kitchen table, phone off, staring at the ocean through the window. Marla passed her a plate. Eat. You need your strength. Aisha nodded, picking up her fork. Outside, her name was reshaping the town's conversation. On Saturday, 3 parents, Chloe's mom, Harper's dad, Lauren's mom, showed up at Marla's apartment, faces tight with anger. Chloe's mom spoke first. Your niece assaulted my daughter. Marla stood firm. She defended herself. Harper's dad snapped. A concussion and bruised ribs aren't defense. Lauren's mom added, We could sue. Marla shut the door halfway. Say it to me, not her. Aisha, coming in from the porch, froze. Chloe's mom turned. You think you're a hero? You're dangerous. Marla stepped forward. Your kids made flyers through rappers, mocked her for weeks. Aisha stopped taking it. That's all. The parents left, muttering threats. By Monday, 3 complaints were filed, demanding Aisha's expulsion. But the videos held firm and public opinion shifted. 3 students testified to the school board, confirming Aisha's story. 1, a junior named Keisha, brought screenshots of group chats and a video of Chloe mooing as Aisha passed. The board expanded its investigation. Hensley resigned quietly, citing personal reasons. Aisha's suspension was lifted after a unanimous vote. The email to Marla was curt. Aisha Carter's suspension is lifted. Please arrange her return. We regret the circumstances. Aisha returned to school that Monday. The halls were quieter, the stairs different. Not mocking, but cautious, respectful. In homeroom, a girl whispered, I saw what they did. I should have spoken up. Aisha met her eyes. Next time, don't wait. At lunch, she sat alone by the courtyard, but no one threw wrappers or made noises. The air was still waiting. The following week, Chloe, Harper, and Lauren were expelled. Their families tried to spin it, but the evidence was ironclad. A new anti-bullying program launched, posters, training, a student council. Aisha didn't join. Her presence was enough. Weeks later, it happened again. After school, near the cliffs by the staff lot, Chloe, Harper, and Lauren waited, hoodies up, eyes burning. Think you're untouchable now? Chloe sneered. Aisha stopped. You don't belong here, she said. Lauren stepped forward. We're here to shut you up. Chloe swung first, a wild slap. Aisha ducked, blocked Harper's grab, and landed a sharp jab to her ribs. Lauren charged. Aisha sidestepped, tripping her to the ground. Chloe tried again. Aisha's punch to her jaw dropped her. "Stay down," Aisha said to Harper, who froze. A teacher ran over, phone out, calling security. The police arrived, taking statements. Aisha was calm, clear. "They came back. I defended myself." The officer nodded. "This is criminal trespassing now." At the station, with Marla beside her, Aisha answered every question. The officer said, "You're not under investigation. They crossed a line." The story hit the news again. Expelled students attack teen again. Police involved. The second video, Chloe's swing, Aisha's defense, spread fast. Public outrage grew. In school, a teacher paused class. "Silence isn't neutral. It's permission." Aisha walked through it all, steady, unshaken. The district added anonymous reporting, hired an equity officer. The police filed charges. Trespassing, assault, conspiracy to harm. The girls faced court. The hearing was in a small courthouse, heavy with tension. Aisha sat with Marla, calm, while Chloe, Harper, and Lauren slouched beside their lawyers. The judge read the charges. Trespassing, attempted assault, harassment. The defense cited youth, distress, misunderstanding. Aisha took the stand, recounting the flyers, the mockery, the attacks. "I tried not to fight," she said. "They came for me twice." The judge nodded. "You're not on trial. I believe you." The girls were found guilty, probation, counseling, alternative schooling, and a 500-foot restraining order. Their families sat stunned. Aisha walked out, Marla beside her, saying nothing to the reporters. The school changed slowly. Teachers watched closer. Students spoke softer. A note appeared in Aisha's locker. "I was silent. I won't be again." At home, Marla handed her a water bottle one evening. "They'll write about you someday." Aisha shrugged. "They already did. They just didn't know me." The girls' lives shifted. Records marked. Futures questioned. Aisha didn't celebrate. Justice wasn't revenge. It was balance. One afternoon, waiting for Marla outside school, a freshman whispered to friends, "That's her." No laughter followed, just awe. Aisha looked at the ocean, then the steps beneath her. The school wasn't fixed, but she had changed it and everyone knew. I hope you enjoyed this story. Share it with friends and stay tuned for more. I've picked 2 stories you might like next. Have a great day.